Queen Marchesa versus the Gitrog monster, and a turn 2 Ophiomancer into a demonic shooter and skull clamp. That sounds pretty good. And hopefully with all that card draw we can get into our white sources. No, well, speaking of white sources, in that case it is a turn 1 Ophiomancer. Grab ourselves the scrub land and go in for the Ophiomancer. Rest in Peace should be really good against Gitrog as well, because that will switch off Gitrog's card draw. Ophiomancer makes a snake at the beginning of every single upkeep, so if we sacrifice the snake to anything, it'll just make another one at the beginning of Gitrog's turn. Alright, Reflecting Pool as well, managing to get into some good stuff here. Let's swing in first of all, and then we can go in for the mountain, might even get down our commander next turn. Yeah, our opponent was looking to pay costs for something then, but I'm not sure what it was. We'll just see if they want to respond to this. They might have some artifact removal, but at least they're not getting rid of our Mana Crypt if they get rid of Skull Clamp, allowing us to draw 2 cards here, and we will get an untapped Snake token at the beginning of our opponent's upkeep. It's a Grapple with the Past they were looking to go for, putting a Fatal Push, Marchesa, Pine Barrens, and Grapple with the Past, obviously going into the graveyard there. We got into a couple of Planeswalkers off of that Skull Clamp, so yeah, we're looking pretty good here. Seems as though our opponent's going to be able to get down a Gitrog next turn. Alright, we'll just drop Reflecting Pool and yeah, could go for Obnixilis. I think I would rather get down Elspeth, Knight Errant, and start ticking her up as soon as possible. We will give the Ophiomancer +3/+3 and flying. And then I'm not going to swing in with the snake just in case our opponent has a means of blowing up the Skull Clamp. We'll have a tap down snake that we want to equip the Skull Clamp to at that point. And it means that our opponent's mana dorks can just swing in at Elspeth, although that would take our opponent off mana, and it would only take Elspeth down by 2 loyalty, so I don't think it would be the worst thing. Let's clamp the snake and draw another couple of cards. Match made in heaven, these two. Now our opponent is on Gitrog mana, so we will probably go for Obnixilis to blow that up into Bojuka Bog next turn. Down comes Gitrog Monster. Only 2 cards left in their hand. We get into Hymn to Turak. Yeah, so maybe go for Hymn to Turak this turn, although we can't do Obnixilis as well, can we? Drop down the Graven Cairns. We'll go for the plus onto the Ophiomancer again. Yeah, it would be really nice to play the Obnixilis, get rid of the Gitrog monster and then go for Hymn to Turak, but we're a mana short, unfortunately. Might as well swing in with the snake as well. Our opponent's not going to block it, and I don't think they're going to have a removal spell. Get down our Planeswalker. -3 destroys a creature. That gets rid of Gitrog. And then it's same old. Clamp the snake, draw 2, and pass to our opponent. We have to discard here. Let's just get rid of a basic Plains. And we got into Enlightened Shooter and Bedevil. Marchesa the Unhallowed now. And that was in the graveyard. I don't know how that came out of the graveyard. Oh, it was with Mortuary Mire. Put a creature from your graveyard on top of your library, but yeah, that was way too fast a start. And we just got to ride the Mana Crypt to victory there. See what we would have drawn into next turn. Yeah, more card drawing, Painful Truths, so we were just getting way too much value off there. Not a real game, so let's try another one. Okay, let's see if we have more luck with our Queen Marchesa deck against Zirilan of the Claw. And I recognise this username. I think this is a spikier player. That hand is not good, so we'll have to mulligan. That is better. just because we've got lands, we'll keep. And we'll throw away the Tech Edge. Then go in for a Godless Shrine. Well, a turn 1 Soul Ring serves us right for getting off the early mana at the beginning of our last turn. Are we going to want to Diabolic Edict? We might do, so I'm just going to shock down the Sacred Foundry. We may want to force our opponent to sack a creature. And then next turn it's probably Council's Judgment onto the Soul Ring. The more time we've got, not having this thing in play, the better. Alright, there's a gamble. And a Spawn of Thraxes being discarded. So I don't know what they gambled for, maybe the Mana Crypt. But just deciding to pass the turn, so let's go in for this Council's Judgment. And we'll see if our opponent did indeed go for the Mana Crypt or not. Yep, looks like they did. So we are going to go for... do we want Darksteel Mutation on that? Or do we just want to force them to sacrifice? Play a Wasteland anyway. I think if they're just going to have a deck that's got a bunch of rocks in it, we're best going for the Darksteel Mutation. Red should have trouble dealing with Darksteel Mutation. Only problem is, if they do manage to get rid of this, it leaves them with an activation on their commander. And Naheb, the Dreadhorde champion, that can generate a lot of mana really quickly. Why don't we go for... Yeah, we're in a bit of trouble here because... Yeah, that's a tricky one to play around. Because if we wipe the board, then they've got access to their commander again. But we've still got the Diabolic Edict at least. And Naheb has Trample, so even if our commander is indestructible, they will gain the monarchy from us. Yeah, I think a Toxic Deluge here. Bit of a waste on the Darksteel Mutation, but at least they didn't get an activation off it last turn. I'd very much like to get into a land so that we can crack this Wasteland on the Nykthos as well. A Blood Moon is not good. That means that we're going to be desperate for black mana. And seeing as how we're going to need to draw into a black mana anyway, might as well pop the Nykthos. Try and buy ourselves a little bit more time. Oh, that came at just the wrong time. Let's get down the Bastion Protector. That's all we can do here. A Flame Shadow Conjuring. Whenever a non-token creature enters under your control, you can pay red to make a copy of it. We draw into Stoneforge Mystic. So I think we're going for this Skull Clamp here. Don't have anything to kill off with Clamp, unfortunately, so we'll just play it out and see if our opponent has red Artifact Destruction. Also swing in for 3. Our opponent managing to make a land. That's 2 in a row, I think. And getting into a Virix Bladewing and making a copy of that. That's a 4/4 flyer. When it enters, if it was kicked, you get a 4/4 dragon token. Luckily, our opponent has not gone for that. And they killed off the non-token version so that they could keep this 4/4 in play. And then exiled. Yeah, okay, that's a bit of a misplay on our opponent's part, I think. We are nowhere near him to Torak. So let's put the Clamp on the Bastion Protector. And we will swing in for 5 on our opponent. Yeah, I would think they would want to keep the Virix Bladewing in play. Might be that they're loading up their graveyard for mass reanimation, but I can't think. I don't really know Dragon Tribal. There is that Storm card, isn't there? The Dragon Storm, is it called? I think that's just a red card. And the commander comes back out. Yeah, fetches aren't going to help us here. We'll offer up the trade to our opponent, but I think we've missed too many land drops for too many turns here. Been pretty much beaten by Blood Moon. Let's put that back onto Stoneforge. I doubt we're going to be blocking with Stoneforge Mystic, but you never know. 5 more bolts in a row from Mana Crypt will win us this game. Rather not win that way though. And a Nevinrel's Disc, so we also have that to worry about now. At least if they go for Nevinrel's Disc, we'll draw 2 cards from Stoneforge dying. And it'll also get rid of the Blood Moon as well, so they don't necessarily want to do that. They've only got 1 card in hand here, but they can activate their commander, search for a dragon and put it into play. They could go for something like Steel Hellkite, pay 1 into that and get rid of our Skull Clamp. A Bogarden Hellkite coming down, and our opponent will no doubt get a copy of that. So they'll be able to do 10 damage straight to our face, and then 10 damage from swinging in. So that will put us down to 3. But deciding instead to go after the Bastion Protector. And they only did 5 damage to us there, I think, so we will be at 8. Both of these are exiled at the end of the turn. Demonic Tutor, this Blood Moon is really hurting us. I don't think it's all that likely that we'll draw into a basic swamp, to be honest. So we might as well just swing in at our opponent and hope that we survive long enough for the Mana Crypt to Lightning Bolt our opponent, but that is not likely. They will most likely get into another dragon this turn and just hit us for lethal. And this time it is Skyline Despot. When it enters, you become the Monarch, and at the beginning of your upkeep, if you're the Monarch, you get a 5/5 dragon. Our opponent's Skyline Despot isn't going to see the upkeep, they're going to get exiled, but we are going to get hit for 10 in the air here anyway. So, with that, it is good game to our opponent. Yeah, a couple of games there in which we saw the power of the fast mana. Had to fight a Mana Crypt and a Sol Ring in the early turns of this game. And then we won last game thanks to our turn 1 or 2 Mana Crypt, I forget which one. And then fighting against Blood Moon as well is really difficult. I suppose we could have gotten into a Disenchant or something like that, but we just have to draw it off the top. And there was no way we were going to tutor for it because we just had a bunch of red in our possession. So it's just unlucky for us there. Blood Moon is a really, really good card apparently, as is the fast mana. I'm tribalkai on the EDH channel. Thank you for watching.